Greetings, Montana, and hello, world. This is Chris Hislop, and it's hard to believe that we've now come to an end of our International Careers Week. Every day, Monday through today, Thursday, we have had 5 extraordinary guests coming to you to discuss international career paths open to students across Montana and around the nation. It's been a really extraordinary week. And so if you've missed any of our sessions, be they with General Wesley Clark, former Supreme Allied Commander Europe, Carol Spahn, the Director of the United States Peace Corps, Rania Dagash Kamara, the Director of the United Nations in East Africa, and so many more, you'll want to check those out on our YouTube channel and on Facebook. We've been talking to people who are here in Montana, around the United States, and around the world to answer a very important question that we commonly hear from students when we travel out to schools. And that question is, how did you get the job that you do? And how can I do that very same job? So there's a lot of interest in Montana in international career paths. So if you're a teacher or a student or anyone who has this kind of interest, you're definitely in the right place. And thank you very much for participating. Let me quickly thank the Dennis and Phyllis Washington Foundation, Allegiance, First Interstate Bank, Trail West Bank, QFI, High Stakes Foundation, and the Longview Foundation. They help us bring this and so many more programs to you across the state and across the nation. Now let me welcome our guest. Today's guest is Dean Stephanie Gray. Since July 2019, she has served as the Dean of Gallatin College, Montana State University. Her passion is focusing on workforce certificate and degree programs that require innovative training in advanced technologies. Dean Gray is committed to leading the college in a way that best supports the regional economy and truly partners with employers. Previously, Dean Gray worked for MSU's Local Government Center as a research associate, and then the youth director for the Human Resource Development Council. These positions taught her the value of public-private partnerships, and she learned education is the key to resolving issues of poverty and moving oneself into a life of opportunity and engagement. Dean Gray's lived in Bozeman, Montana with her husband and 3 daughters since 1995. And let me add, Dean Gray and Gallatin College, MSU, great partners of the Montana World Affairs Council. We launched together with them and the Montana Photonics Industry Alliance last fall our program EconoQuest, bringing the world of international economics and opportunities in the photonics industry to high school students across Montana. Whew, that was a mouthful. Stephanie, welcome to the program. How are you?
Thank you, Chris. I'm very well. I'm sitting here in my office in Bozeman, Montana on Montana State University's campus. And that's, I guess, the first thing I'd say about Gallatin College is we offer 1- and 2-year degrees in workforce, areas of workforce and healthcare and IT and cybersecurity. And we do that all as a college of Montana State University, which is unique. And for those students listening, it's a high value. So if you decide to come to Montana State University for an engineering degree, that's fantastic. Come here and do that. You also have the opportunity to work on a photonics certificate or Associate of Applied Science degree or a welding certificate, or vice versa. If you come to Gallatin College first and decide you want to get a photonics certificate or degree, you can also transfer to MSU and work on your philosophy degree. So we just like to say that there's really no wrong door here. When you come to Montana State, you can work on a small certificate, everything up to a PhD, which my friend Joe Shaw probably talked about those offerings in an earlier session today, which is February 9th. If you're tuning in later, you can go check that out. So first I will say about myself, and I guess to answer part of the question, the challenge questions, which is how did you get your job and what do you do? You heard I started out in high school working for my family in retail jobs. My dad owned a ski shop in a resort area in Colorado. And so I got to start in the private sector there, and then went to college and was very interested in working on issues of poverty. And then got a job at a local government center because became very interested in policy issues and how to affect poverty with policy issues, and worked in a nonprofit, and then came to Gallatin College after all those things. And the point of me telling you these stories is that whatever you're doing in the moment that you're doing it, do it with a lot of curiosity and interest and charisma, and always know that the person you're working with or the person you're serving could be your next contact for your next job. And so keeping that level of curiosity and interest is important. Having a diverse body of interest is important, because you never know where you might end up. I know if you are high school, even if you're coming into college graduation or high school graduation, everybody's asking you, what are you doing? What are you doing? And if you could just think about where do you want to be in the next 5 years? That's plenty. You don't need to worry about your whole life. Just think about where you might want to be in 5 years, and what that environment might look like, what the kind of problem you want to work on might look like. Maybe you're really interested in the environment. Maybe you're really interested in something in healthcare and helping people feel better in healthcare, or helping people feel better about their mental health. Or just, so think about it in a way of like, what problem do I want to solve? What do I want to work on? And that might help you guide your direction. And as I said earlier, doing it in a way that is most interesting to you. And so you have enthusiasm when you're doing it. You're excited to get up and go. And then the last thing I'll say, if you are high school age students, go get a summer job and get the job and do whatever you want to do. It really, you're just getting experience. You're learning how to be on a team. You're learning how to solve problems. And those are the important things for your future and some of the careers that I'll talk about today. So I guess I was supposed to mention a little bit about, I became the dean because I matched up my skill sets, which were writing and policy. And I love thinking about the economy and how jobs fit together and what we can do in the economy to make our economy strong and diverse. And so being a dean of a 2-year college is a really nice fit for that, because at Gallatin College, we have 22 different programs. And that's how our economy should look. We should never be reliant on just construction trades or just the tourism industry. We should have a very diverse, rich economy at the local level and, of course, at the global level. So specifically, I guess I want to say that we have a website, gallatin.montana.edu. If you want to look at some of our other programs that we have to offer, you can certainly do that right now and take a look at all the different things that we offer. Specifically today, I'm going to talk about photonics technician, our photonics technician program, and what does that mean? What do they do? What are the opportunities? How can you prepare yourself for these types of jobs? And so maybe we can shed a little light on that, because we have a burgeoning photonics industry in Montana. And particularly, most of them are in the Bozeman area. And that is why Gallatin College has this 2-year program. That's part of my job, and our job is to meet the needs of industry. And so the Montana Photonics Industry Alliance approached Gallatin College and said, hey, we need some technicians to do the work that all the engineers have designed and created. And so I will talk a little bit more about that and what the program looks like and entails, and to let you all know you are all welcome to come and join the program and come check it out, because we really need you. So first off, Chris, is there anything else I need to start with, or?
That's a great introduction, Dean Gray. I don't want to stop your flow. I think it would be great to hear a little bit more about the photonics, and then we're going to have some questions. I'll quickly tell the participants who've joined us, there are a few. If you have questions for Dean Gray at any time, chat them in. I will curate those and we'll have a Q&A session when you're done. Go ahead.
All right. So let's see. First off, what the heck is photonics, right? If there are four-year students on the call and they happen to be engineers, please, you can disregard this part. But I'm going to speak as if we know nothing about photonics or what the heck it is. So photonics is a technology that enables us to do other things with the technology. But think about electricity. Because someone invented electricity, we are able to turn on lights and run blow dryers and do all these other things that we need electricity for. Now, photonics is the same thing. Because of photonics and the development and the manipulation of light, we're able to do a lot of other things with that have practical applications. So if we think about our eyes are photonic devices. They see things, they see light, and they see visible light. But sometimes they can't see everything. And so if you are looking at a mountain, you can see the mountain and you can see the snow and the trees. But if it gets cloudy, you can't see it anymore because your eyes can't see through the clouds and can't see that the light's blocked. But if you design a device that can see through the clouds, like infrared light, then you can see through, or the smoke in the clouds, you can see through there and you can see that there's perhaps a fire on the other side of the smoke. And so that's an example of a device that was designed using photonics technology to enable us to do something that we wouldn't normally be able to do. Think about things like, any type of scanners or self-driving cars, anything that might use lasers or lights to look forward or backward or up or down to read through. Farmers use photonics devices for precision agriculture to look down at dirt and see what kinds of materials are in the dirt, or and so they know what to be able to grow, or if they should water it, if it's dry or if it's wet, and they can measure all those things. So they're devices that can send back data and tell us what is in that particular material, and then we can do stuff with it. So really, photonics, we are using photonics technology all the time. We're using it right now. And so it's very important and critical to the growth of our economy and our security and everything that we do in this country, certainly everything we do globally. And we need technicians to help us build the devices that are using that photonics technology. So it may sound complicated and like you'd have to go to school forever to learn how to be a technician, but that's not true. You really only need a couple of years of training, which is, our program is a 2-year program. And you can learn, each company you would go and work for is going to be working on a different device or application of photonics. But if you know the background and the foundational ideas behind it, and if you really like to problem solve, that's important. You have to be the type of person that when you see a problem, you don't run away from it and say, someone else needs to go fix that and I'll go get them to fix it. You have to be the type of person that wants to break it apart, open it up, say, what's going on here? Let's do some tests. What could be the problem? What's not the problem? And so if you approach life in that way naturally anyway, then this would be a great career for you. You don't have to be, you can come to Gallatin College and know nothing about photonics and physics and all those things, because we will teach you from the beginning all the skills you need to go into a company and be a great employee for them and have a good job with them. I mean, there are some things that it's helpful that that having a strong math base is very important. Being able to write, because you'll always have to write reports or write some things like that, and being able to that if you happen to have any knowledge about electronics, that's wonderful, or physics or any of those types of things, those are always really helpful too. But I don't want people to think that they can't just literally kind of walk off the street with a high school diploma and come into the program and get a job at one of our, I think we have 34-ish to 40 companies right now in Bozeman that are doing this work. And there are a lot of jobs right now for people who want to come in and learn how to be technicians and then go work for those companies. Our students are placed immediately. Our students get jobs before they graduate the program, and we have those relationships with the industry, so our students are able to do that and still complete their academic program, and that's really fortunate. So you can start earning money before you even get out of school. The lifestyle or the culture working, I've gotten to tour a lot of these companies. They are beautiful environments and really positive companies that are doing groundbreaking work. And we have one big company that's working on self-driving cars right now. That's global work. So it's not just work for Bozeman, it's really purposeful, valuable work for our country and for the world, for that matter, and working for international companies. I mean, some of them are, and great money. So to Gallatin College's tuition is half price of an MSU tuition. So it's a much more affordable way to get into a career. And then the money is good for these companies. And then the other thing is, like I said, it's a career. It's something that you can stay in and become a part of the team and the company, and then you'll continue to grow and make more money as the company grows too. Let's see. Think that's about it, Chris. If you had questions or
Yeah, well,
I missed anything.
yeah, Dean Gray, thanks. You've covered a lot of ground here, and it's a really nice compliment, as you mentioned, to Joe Shaw, who was on earlier talking about photonics and a 4-year opportunities at MSU. If you missed that, you can check it out on YouTube. But Dean Gray, I mean, it's a very compelling situation. You've got extraordinary innovation happening in the Gallatin Valley around photonics, around tech. These innovations create opportunity. And it's institutions like Gallatin College, MSU, who are now offering those pathways for students. You mentioned a few things. I wonder, I had this question in mind, but you've answered it in part. I'll see if you have anything more you'd like to add. But the people who are watching this, students who are thinking, okay, I'm going to graduate from high school. I have many avenues in front of me. Here's a 4-year university, 2-year university, military or otherwise. Can you talk a little bit about the advantages of a 2-year university and why a student in that situation who's looking at these many paths might say, this is really for me? And then part B of that question is going to be tying this to the international aspect. And could you maybe touch on how Gallatin College looks at this part for those students who are saying, I really like photonics, but I want to be out there in the world. I want somehow to have engagement in the world. How does Gallatin College think about that, and how do they support students to do that?
Okay, well, I would say the advantage for a student to come to a 2-year college and to come to Gallatin College, number one is affordability. we are very good at Gallatin of packing as much needed training, hands-on training. I mean, students spend a lot of time in the lab and getting out of the classroom as much as possible. Of course, there's always lecture, but there's hands-on training. So if you're a student that, you know, you find in high school that you get a little bored in math classes, you could come to Gallatin College and learn that you're actually doing math and you don't even know you're doing math because you're working with your hands and you're working in the lab and learning about a problem with a piece, an optic piece or laser, and you're actually applying math skills to that problem. So the hands-on component is really important. The affordability, I think, is nice for families right now and for individuals that are paying their own way through college. The other piece is, like I said earlier, is you get to here, you work, you can start working the day you get here. We design our classes so you also can work and come to class. And we have relationships with industry so you can go and work in the field that you're studying. You know, I also mentioned the opportunity of coming to Gallatin College is you're also on a 4-year campus. So you have the library, the student union, all the athletics. You're living in, you know, you're in Bozeman, and our students also get to live in the dorms here. So that's a nice opportunity for 2 years. You could live in the dorm while you're getting your feet under you and getting your job, so then you can go out and find housing. You know, our classes are small. It also provides a student the opportunity to build that confidence. I hear that a lot from our faculty members is, you know, our students are smart enough, they could probably go right to the job and learn, get trained on the job, but they're just not quite confident. They've never really had a job in a professional environment. And so, and maybe they're not confident with the types of equipment they're going to be using and the instruments they're going to be using. And so we help them with that and we introduce them slowly into that work. So that confidence building is important too. And I guess those would be all the things I would think that are advantageous to a 2-year institution as opposed to a 4-year. Of course, you're getting out in the work environment quicker too, and the military or an apprenticeship. The international aspect is you know, we have companies that are doing work, global work, and working with clients across the world. I'm not super specific about those. We might have somebody on the call who is, if he wants to chime in. But so there's that global aspect. It's a lot of problem solving for very important global issues. You know, climate change is probably one of them. And so I think that's a high value for a lot of individuals. And I don't know, Jason, do you have any on the international aspect to add? Do you do this work a lot? Jason is from the Montana Photonics Industry Alliance. He is the chair there, and he's an industry professional. I'll do a quick introduction.
Well, thank you, Stephanie. Really, it's quite diverse. In fact, just this morning, MSU was partnering with a group in Finland to be able to fly aeronautical drones with optical devices to make measurements up in the Arctic. That's happening here in our state, working with countries in Europe. And the interest is so much that I just saw a request from the Council General of Finland to come to Bozeman and better understand what we're doing. Perfect example, education, industry, and by the way, those drones are coming from Vision Aerial, another local Bozeman company. Industry, education, and our international partners pulling together.
Well, Jason, thank you very much for coming on the call and for complimenting Dean Gray. I wonder if I could just stick with you for one moment on this same question, because from an industry standpoint, you are looking to institutions like Gallatin College to help you bring in qualified and skilled people. Last fall, we worked very closely with MPIA and Gallatin College on our program EconoQuest for this purpose. I wonder, you know, if you could talk a little bit more about the needs of industry, particularly on photonics. where are the gaps? What do you need so that our students who are watching this can better understand, here's where the opportunities lie?
Well, thank you for the question, Chris. There's a lot of ways to look at it, but I'm going to start with just one, and that's the technician level. I was with the governor's office just last week in California doing a Montana reception at the largest photonics conference in the world, Photonics West. And at the Montana reception, we had partners from at least a dozen different countries, from Asia and Europe in the room. And one of the hot topics was the challenge of finding skilled labor, and specifically skilled labor who wants to work with their hands to put things together. This is not just a problem for Montana. This is a problem across the globe. So at that conference, Optica actually wrote an article the day of our reception, highlighting the challenge across the entire United States. I am so excited to be part of Montana here, where we not only understand this problem, but we see parties actively engaging to address this. The governor just highlighted on the State of the Union address, I believe yesterday, the Miles City Community College, emphasizing the need to have more people go into the trades. On the photonics side, this is one of our biggest challenges. There are companies in town that are looking to expand, building, adding 200 jobs, building 78,000 square foot manufacturing sites, and they need technicians. Other companies that are much, much larger, we're talking multi-billion dollar, are considering looking at Montana for future growth. And the question they have, how many technicians can we produce to compete? Because a lot of these, Bria, for example, their cities have a larger population than our state. And they look at Montana.
You're breaking up a bit, Jason. You said
Yep.
they look at Montana and then you broke up. Could you repeat that, please?
And they ask the question, is there enough pipeline of talent to be able to support the growth they want to see here in Montana? And so that is a challenge. Stephanie, that's a challenge for the community college. That's a challenge for, as Joe mentioned today, Montana State University as a whole with our 4 and 4-year programs and graduate programs. Can we produce enough young people? Can we help them move forward in their careers to be able to court these international companies to Montana? And I think the answer is, if we partner together, we can. So Chris, I thank you for the opportunity to highlight this challenge. As Stephanie said, these are wonderful careers. We're having an impact around the world. There are photonics devices from here in our state on all 7 continents, orbiting the Earth in space and satellites, and currently on the surface of Mars.
I love that, Jason. Thanks a lot. And I'll just pick up on something you said here. The intersection between industry and learning institutions and government. Governor Gianforte has a very ambitious agenda. He's been talking recently about these very things for high school students, helping improve our civics and economic education, but also this interesting point about providing opportunity for Montanans to stay in Montana if they want to. And when I hear Dean Gray talk about the opportunities in photonics and more broadly through the other programs that Gallatin College offers, Dean Gray, it sounds to me like students who go through your different academic tracks have this incredible opportunity to, get skilled, get high-paying jobs here in Montana, to stay in Montana if they wish, but also have a kind of international career, as Jason mentioned, photonics all around the world. I mean, is that so?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. We have CNC machining. That's computer numerically controlled machining. We have IT and cybersecurity. Computer automated drafting, all those programs have jobs in Bozeman right now, because that's my mission, is to make sure we're creating programs so our students can stay local and work local. However, the nice thing is they also could go get jobs in the state of Montana. There's a high demand for all of those skills. I mean, all 22 of our programs, but it doesn't stop there. It's regional need, it's global need. You could go to Germany and get a job as a machinist. You could go to, you know, anywhere in that's developed and get a job in these programs. Certainly, I don't have to talk about IT, networking, and cybersecurity, the value there. I just want to, if I have 2 minutes, I'd like to hold up a very high tech, for those of you listening or watching, a very high tech slide. This number, 127. This is a ratio that is applicable to any industry. So in manufacturing, we'll say in photonics, for every one owner, or so that's the one owner, one CEO, one investor, you need 2 managers in the room, we'll say, or on the floor. And for every 2 of those, you need at least 7 technically skilled individuals to do and put out the work. And so my point of that ratio, and you can do it in healthcare, doctor, nurses, radiology techs, you know, phlebotomist, you know, it's that pyramid is true for every industry, the 1 to 7. So my point is that if you always want to have an assured job that's recession proof generally, and going to be highly valued, you will stay in that 7 range, which is a technician job. And we have technician jobs in every industry. I mean, carpentry, or the building trades call them, you know, laborers or carpenters or plumbers or electricians. They all have different names, but the high demand is there for certain. And so, and the nice thing is getting the skills for those jobs, just like a photonics tech, doesn't cost a lot of money. And we all have scholarships because the federal government is seeing the value right now in this. And we're getting lots of scholarship funding and assistance to get folks through these programs as quickly as possible.
Maybe, Chris, I could answer that question as well.
Please go ahead.
I'm a Montana native, born and raised in Missoula, but came over to MSU to pursue a career in physics. I had a job before I graduated as an undergraduate, working in the industry, and I had never left the continental United States. However, when I started working for a company at the time, Big Sky Laser, and then which was then quickly bought by a company out of France, I had the opportunity within a matter of years to visit Japan, France, Israel, to travel the globe while being based out of Bozeman, Montana. That opportunity would not have presented itself if I could not have found a career that was interconnected, like photonics is, across the globe.
Jason, thanks a lot for sharing that. And what a great way to wrap this up. You know, looking at the opportunities at Gallatin College for a 2-year degree that can bring you into a most extraordinary sector, a most extraordinary part of the Montana economy, high tech and photonics. There is so much opportunity there. I hope that students watching this can come away with this idea that, hey, here is a real interesting, opportune, compelling career path that they can follow. More information, as Dean Gray said, obviously available on their website. Do look into that. So let me thank Dean Stephanie Gray and Jason Yeager from the MPIA, and I'll quickly thank our very generous sponsors at the Dennis and Phyllis Washington Foundation, Allegiance, First Interstate Bank, Trail West Bank, QFI, High Stakes Foundation, and Longview Foundation. They're helping us bring this and so many more programs to you. It's a heartfelt thank you to you all from us here at the Montana World Affairs Council for a quite extraordinary week. Stephanie and Jason, you've put the cherry on the top here at our final session. Much appreciated to both of you for joining us. Thank you, everyone who's participated, and we look forward to seeing you all in our next programs. Until then, be well and bye-bye.